Hello everybody! You are now watching a new video game review from Gaming Fighters review series. This time I have picked tower defense game called iBomber Defense Pacific. So prepare your military skills and strategic thinking and let's get started! iBomber Defense Pacific takes you to the well-known Pacific battlefields from World War II like Guadalcanal or Midway. Even though the missions itself are fictive, you will have a chance to learn a little bit from military history, and I think that it was a good idea to choose well-known historical background for the game instead of some anonymous conflict that you probably would not be so attracted to. We have prepared a good background for the game, and now let's have a look if the other parts of the game have the same quality. Now I can upgrade my defense structures. As in every traditional tower defense game, your task is to defend something. Your primary objective is not to let too many enemy units entering your base. This is determined by the number on the left top of the screen. This number is decreased every time when enemy unit manages to get to your base. Once this number is 0, you failed and need to start mission over. Unless, but let's talk about it a little bit later. In each mission you have also some secondary goal like to protect some strategic objects from your base or to destroy enemies' buildings. Every time when you succeed and accomplish the mission, you get some score and earn some victory points. First serves mainly to compare yourself with other players in online charts, while the second you can spend for upgrading your weapon units and structures to make them more effective. Then they can shoot faster, do more damage, or cover greater area in case of radar. Speaking of units, let's have a look which ones are at your disposal to protect your base. In the beginning you have just machine gun and cannon. First one is effective against light units, while second one has better usage against tanks or heavy artillery. As you proceed through the game, you will get bombs that you can drop on convoys or enemy structures to cause them great damage, Flamer that doesn't cause so much damage but slowing down enemy units in its range and gives your arsenal more time to show the enemies that they are not welcome here. The rest of your weaponry consists of radar, increasing the range of your unit placed in the area that radar covers, rocket launcher with slow but heavy fire against armored units, and anti-air missile against enemies' planes. As being said before, you are buying and upgrading them for victory points earned in accomplished missions. If I count right, you have just 6 defense structures, which is not so much, and its number is slight disappointment. Luckily, there is a lot of pairs that you can assign to your virtual general, like boosting the armor, on aiming your turrets, or start each level with more money and bomb. You can assign up to 3 of them, so you need to choose them carefully before each mission. Now let's talk about the enemy units standing against you. As you can see, later the enemy waves are bigger and there is more of them to face. In the beginning it is usually infantry, light jeeps or light tanks, the life expectancy is just a few seconds. But soon we will have to count with heavy units that are slow but heavily armored and causing more damage to your defense structures. As you are fighting in Pacific, You can also expect many naval missions where you need to protect your base against the attacks from the sea. The naval units are the equivalent of ground units. You will be fighting against light but fast ships, as some are slow but heavily armored cruisers. In some missions, you will need to protect your base against both ground and naval attacks. In first missions, you are not facing more than 10 light enemy waves, while later you can expect more than 20 of them, one right after another, so you will need to act quickly, as there is not so much time to deploy new defense units. You are buying them for money that you earn by destroying enemy units. The better enemy unit you destroy, the more money you earn. The turrets are rather expensive, and you earn money quite slowly, so you can be sure that you will almost never have so much money that you would not know what to do with them. I can say that the game is really challenging even on medium difficulty, so you will have to deploy your units at right places and combine them wisely. You can choose from 3 levels of difficulty, so I would say that everyone can find an appropriate difficulty setting here. Especially when you can rewind the time a little bit and try to solve the critical moment of the mission another way. Here you can see that I am facing heavy naval attacks and I've got just 1 life remaining not to fail the mission. But I managed it and mission is accomplished. And the upgrade part again. The graphics of the game is average at its best. The environment and the units are nicely drawn, but everything is so small that if you do not play on a really big screen, sometimes you have a problem to recognize your units from each other. The music is playing only in menu and sounds are quite okay. The control is very simple, you just need left mouse button for almost all actions. Is this game suitable for family playing? Well, it is rather meant for casual players, so I would say yes. You can play it with your kids, but not the preschool ones for sure, and compete who will get better score. It is still war, but there are no drastic scenes, so it might be a good way how they can learn strategic thinking and time management. And another wave of heavily armored tanks. And as you can see in the top left corner, I need to face 20 enemy waves like this. We have seen enough, so let's get to the final verdict. The historical background, necessity of good strategic planning, a lot of upgrades for your units, variability of enemy units, and challenging but not frustrating difficulty are the pros of the game. On the other side are a small number of defense structures, the graphics making units unrecognizable sometimes, and too strict economic model. The game costs just €3 on Steam, so it is definitely worth the price. There are better tower defense games on the market, but this one is not doing bad, so I'm giving it thumbs up and Gaming Fire's index 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching this video and see you again next time!